Hello everybody, welcome back to Move by Kim. I am Kim and today we are going to talk about one of the moves that you do in the majority of your exercises as well as in your everyday life. It's called the hip hinge. And once you understand and learn how to do this movement properly, everything from your deadlifts to your kettlebell swings to picking up something off the floor is going to be much more efficient and a lot safer. So let's get into it. So what is a hip hinge? Simply put, it's the act of leaning forward at your hips while maintaining a neutral long spine and a neutral lower back. That's it. But unfortunately, many people do this move from the lower back. And that right there is the problem. When you bend at your lower back instead of your hips, your spine takes the majority of that load that it was never intended to handle. So over time, this move done incorrectly shows up as chronic lower back pain, extremely tight hamstrings and posterior chain, which includes your glutes and your hips. So your entire back system is underworked and underpowered. So once you learn how to do the hip hinge correctly, it puts all of that load in the correct spots. And this allows you to gain power and strength in those areas you want when doing the hip hinge correctly. Let's talk about what's actually happening in your body during a hip hinge. The primary movers are your hamstrings, the muscles at the back of the thighs, and your glutes. As you hinge forward, your hamstrings lengthen under tension and what we call an eccentric load. That stretch is what generates the power to drive you back upright. And your core is bracing the entire time to protect your lumbar spine.
Here's the best way to learn the hip hinge pattern, and I love this drill for absolute beginners all the way to experienced athletes. Grab a dowel rod or a broomstick, anything straight and long. Hold it vertically along your spine with 3 points of contact, the back of your head, between your shoulder blades, and your tailbone. Now hinge forward. The goal is to maintain all 3 points of contact the entire time. If the stick leaves your head or your tailbone, your spine has lost its neutral position and you've broken out of the hinge. Now let's put that together without the stick. Stand with your feet hip width apart, soft bend in the knees. Now push your hips back toward the wall behind you. Let your torso follow as your hips move back. Chest comes forward, spine stays long. Feel that pull in your hamstrings? That's the load. That's exactly what we want. Lower until you feel a strong stretch in the hamstrings. For most people, that's somewhere between 45 to 90 degrees of a forward lean. And then drive your hips forward to stand up. Squeeze your glutes at the top. Make sure to stand straight up, top of your head reaching up towards the ceiling. Being very mindful that on the stand up, you are standing straight up, not leaning back, but straight up. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, and hips over ankles. That's it. That is your hinge. Pressing hips back, standing straight up. You've got this.
Okay, so now that we know what the hip hinge looks like and what it should feel like, let's talk about the most common mistakes I see when training my clients. So number one, squatting the hinge. A lot of times I see people taking really deep bends into the knees as they hinge. You're no longer doing a hinge, you're doing a squat. The hinge, we want to make sure that our knees stay softly bent. We don't want a deep bend in those knees, right? So it's a soft bend to allow us to have a nice hinge forward, find the lengthening in the backs of the legs, and power ourselves up. That's the first one. Soft bend, do not bend too deeply in the knees. Another big mistake that I see is the rounding of the lower back. And this takes us back to what I was talking to before. Many people taking this in the lower back instead of the hips. And then you are opening yourself up for injury as well as chronic lower back pain, especially when you start adding load to these. If you can't maintain a neutral spine, then shorten your range of motion. It's okay. There's no set standard on how low you should start going. The goal is to be able to go as low as you can and have an entirely flat back, shoulders aligned with your hips. But we don't all start there. So if you start to feel that you're losing it, that you're caving in, that your lower back is rounding, go a bit higher and stop. We want good form over big movement any day, right? Quality over quantity. Mistake number 3 that I see is looking up too much. Many people during moves like this are having their neck in this cranked position. We need to maintain a neutral spine. And when I say neutral spine, I mean all the way from the base of the neck all the way down to your tailbone. So your gaze should follow your body movement pattern right out in front of you to take the load off of that spine. Because again, we want neutral spine, neutral lower back, hamstrings engaged, power on the up. So mistake number 4 that I see is not feeling it in the hamstrings. And this quite often is a big one. I'll have clients hinging and say, I don't feel it. It's because a lot of the times people are just hinging like this. You want your tailbone back. I often use the analogy, pretend that you have your arms full of something and you're closing the car door with your seat, with your tush. So if you're not feeling in your hamstrings, really focus on leading with your glutes. Your glutes push back behind you. A little regression for you. So if you're doing this hinge and you're still not feeling in your hamstring, take yourself to a wall. Take yourself about 1 foot away from the wall. Practice just pressing your tailbone back behind you, tapping the wall and coming up. Just tap the wall behind and stand up. You're practicing the hinge while putting all of your energy into your tailbone, pressing it back and standing up. So this will help you get that movement pattern down correctly. Then take yourself away from the wall, practice doing the same move, and hopefully by that time you're feeling it in your hamstrings because you're pressing your tailbone back. Now, if you're doing the hip hinge and you're doing your deadlifts and you feel so great, here's some progressions for you. You can do a single leg deadlift. You can start off, you have 2 weights in your hand, yeah? Taking 1 foot back, sliding it back to the point of your standing foot's heel, and then hinging, and then coming up. Hinging. You can do a bit more of a progression by taking your leg and extending it back and standing up. When doing a single leg deadlift, you want to make sure that this hip of the leg that's extending back stays pointing down towards the ground. The tendency is to open up. We want to keep that hip nice and closed. Take it to the point, stand up. And then one more progression you can have is you can take a heavy dumbbell, heavier than what maybe you've done, just one, and take the weight down towards the other foot, taking it a slight rotation. So instead of taking it straight down, you're kind of taking it over, taking your torso over, reaching a little bit beyond the standing leg's foot. You can also do it with putting the weight, the single weight, in the hand of the standing leg. That's also going to provide challenge because when you start doing single leg deadlifts, the leg that you are standing on is the leg you are working and that you are focusing on. So those are some modifications and some progressions for you. As you are either learning or maybe relearning this move and putting it into practice with your deadlifts, with your good mornings, before each rep, I really want you to take your mind and body and connect them. Think about bracing your core, maybe taking a huge 360 breath in, exhaling through the mouth, locking in that core, it stays there, right? Finding your neutral spine, your nice long lower back, and then begin your process. And do this before every rep, really focusing on the parts of the body that are stabilizing and the parts of the body that are actively working, right? Hamstrings, glutes, actively working. Core, lower back, spine, nice and still and tight. Do this, I would honestly recommend, before every movement that you do, really calling to attention what you're doing, what the purpose of the movement is. Take your mind there. We've talked about this before in other videos. But once you do that, the intensity that you can add to a single move becomes tenfold because you are actively thinking about it. And that is it for the hip hinge. Thank you for sticking around this long if you made it to the end of the video. I hope that I was able to provide some clarity, maybe give you some progression options, or even give you some options on how to help find a deeper hip hinge process. Thank you for coming. Come back around. We'll have more coming into the series. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this with a friend who maybe needs a little bit of help on understanding some basic movement patterns. I promise once you get this one movement pattern down, it will open up your world of fitness so much more, and you will feel so much more confident in the movements that you do. And from that, you'll gain more strength and more power. And that's what we're here for. Okay, everybody, thank you for joining, and see you on the next time. Bye.